Hello, Tito Jeff here, Ormoc City, Leyte, the Philippines. One of my subscribers asked me to talk about banking while I'm here in the Philippines. So I've decided to do that. Today is the 3rd of July, July 3rd, 2025, Thursday morning. Just getting my day started. I went fishing this morning, didn't catch a thing. Talked to some local guys on the pier and learned about how to maybe do some fishing. I'll try to make some videos about that. Banking. So I knew I was going to come to the Philippines, and in 2018, at least I was thinking about it, I said, I going to have a bank while I'm here. What can I do? So I probably need to have an international banking account. Who has international banking accounts? Well, Charles Schwab has international banking accounts, except they're not a bank. They're a brokerage. You have international accounts. Now, you can get checks, and I have an ATM card with, so it kind of acts like a bank, but mostly it's for investments. So I have a cash account with them that I can use an ATM. So in 2018, I switched all my banking to Charles Schwab. I was employed. I had my check deposited to direct deposit to Schwab. I had an ATM card. I had an IRA account. I had a cash account. And so in 2019, I decided I was going to move to the Philippines, December 2019. Came here, so I've got everything all set up. I don't have to worry about it. And everything was fine. And I got here in April. In June, I got a notification from Schwab, and they realized I was living here through my electronic records, I guess. Now, I could have tried to fool them, say, no, I have an American address, I've got my driver's license there, so forth and so on. And I probably could have avoided it, but that was my plan. So I wasn't worried about it. That was my plan to switch to an international account, but I had to be here to do that. So I had kind of waited to do that, and then they told me I had to. So that was no big deal. They sent me an ATM card. Now, it was kind of a stressful thing because they wanted me to do it right away. And I was in June, early June, and I was getting married July 1st, and I was going to go on my honeymoon. I needed to have access to my account, needed an ATM card. But they got it to me on time. They sent it by courier. They're very, very efficient. I've always had good service with Schwab. And then August 2022, I applied early for my early retirement. I was turning 62 in November. I got my first check coming in December, but just before that, Schwab sent me a notice. You will no longer be able to receive deposits to this account because the Philippines is on a restriction list. And the restriction was due to money laundering here in the Philippines. There's an organization, I forget the name of it, but it's set up to fight money laundering. And they monitor countries and they rank them. Well, there's a blacklist because money laundering is so bad. And there's a gray list. There's not great, but if they improve, we can get them off of the gray list. That's where the Philippines was. Now they're off the gray list now. But I still have restrictions on my account from Schwab, and I'm not sure why. I'm going to have to check into that. So that stressed me out because I was getting my first Social Security check in December. Then I had to immediately find another banking, some way to do banking. And I was looking online with American banks, and I was having trouble because you have to be in America to open an account, or they're also having restrictions, things like that. So I said, look, I'll just get a local account. I got a BDO account. Banco de Oro is what BDO stands for. So I applied for that account in early December, and the banking lady, my manager, she's a friend of ours, she said, it'll take 4 to 6 weeks. Oh my God, I'm going to miss my second Social Security check, and I really kind of need the money because I'd spent a lot of my savings buying a house and doing renovations and getting married. So I didn't want to spend any more. So, but I got it. I got it on time. I got my second Social Security check the 1st of January. Not the first, but 3rd or 4th. So that's another thing. The Social Security checks, if you're living here, they don't do it twice a month, depending on your birthday. All of the checks are sent to expats on the 1st of the month. And I think it's supposed to be the 3rd of the month, but that doesn't always happen. I've gotten them as late as the 6th. It depends on holidays here, banking holidays and things like that. Now, they were still on the gray list until this year. Now they're off, and probably some other banks, like I said, already have some restrictions. I got the BDO account. Now there's some problem. You have to have an ACR card, Alien Certificate of Registration, to open a bank here in the Philippines. So if you're coming here and going to stay on a tourist visa, you have to wait 60 days to get an ACR card, and then once you get that, you can open a bank account. I was married, had an ACR card, and applying for permanent residency, so there's no big deal. Now there's some restrictions on the BDO account because of Social Security. They make the rules. So Social Security does not allow me to have an ATM card for my BDO account. I cannot have any online banking with the BDO account. It is a dollar account. The Social Security Administration sends dollars to this account in the Philippines. So if I want my money, I have to go to the bank, withdraw cash, and convert it to pesos. And it depends on what the conversion rate is that day. So, like I said, it doesn't always come on the 3rd when it's supposed to, and sometimes it's a little stressful, but it's not that big a deal. So, another thing happened. That was in January 2022, January 2023. Yeah, I got my second Social Security check. I also had to file for taxes in 2023 for my 2022 tax return, because I still had, employment paychecks, and I had withdrawn money from my IRA, so I had to file a tax return. So I was going to get a refund, but I couldn't send it to Schwab because I can't make any deposits, and they won't send it to a foreign bank, so BDO would not accept it. So I got scrambled and found somebody suggested Navy Federal Credit Union to me, and I did. I opened an account with them online from the Philippines. They sent me an ATM card by courier. I think I had the choice of receiving checks. I didn't take any, and so far it's been a good account. So I got my first IRS refund deposited to Navy Federal Credit Union. Now, I also have a joint account with my wife at BDO. And we do have an ATM card and electronic banking, online banking, all of the services that you get at the bank here, because it's not covered by Social Security. So along comes my little boy, April 2023. And I found out that he was eligible to receive a benefit from Social Security. So we applied for that at the same time that we applied for his citizenship. So it took a while to get that. But the thing is, BDO would not accept a deposit on his behalf. And neither would Navy Federal Credit Union, because they did not handle what they call fiduciary accounts. I would be the fiduciary. I am the representative, JJ's representative. That's just part of the title from Social Security. They give you a title. So I had to scramble again. Another bank, where can I go? So I went to Metro Bank. It's another Filipino bank. And the same thing, I got it set up for JJ. My name is on the account, and I can withdraw cash and convert to pesos. No ATM card, no electronic banking. While I was there, my next door neighbor is one of the employees of the bank, and she helped us with that. She also told me about, and I was asking her, I said, what can I do? I'm going to get a check for JJ for some back pay from Social Security. I'd like to not use that and set it up for him for some kind of investment, some kind of certificate of deposit or something like that. and save it for his future. And so she suggested AXA, which is a European insurance company, and they have what's called an endowment. And we made our first payment last November, 156,000 pesos, which is about $3,000. We'll do that for 7 years. After 7 years, JJ will start receiving 50,000 pesos a year. And then we don't make payments anymore, I think. And then after 20 years, he gets a lump sum of 1.5 million pesos. So it's a good deal. And it'll be good for his future. So when I was in America, I went to America last June and stayed until December. I worked because we were planning on coming back to America on a marriage visa, and I needed a little extra money for the move. It's going to cost about $20,000 to get back and get settled in the United States, including a car, an apartment, plane tickets, taxis, ferries, furniture, all the things you need there. So I said, well, I'd like to have an account, an American account for JJ, for his account. So I talked to Bank of America, and I could open an account, and they would service the account even though I had a foreign address. They were willing to do that, but I had to be in America to open the account. So I never did do it. Turns out I didn't think I really needed it. But you can do that. If you're in America, Bank of America, and I've heard other expats say that they have a Bank of America account and they like it. I don't know all the details. One of the good things about Schwab, if that ever opens up again, when I use the ATM card, they reimburse me for all of my fees. No ATM fees whatsoever. So that's how I do banking here in the Philippines. Also last year when I went to America, I changed my direct deposit from BDO to Navy Federal Credit Union because when I went back to America, because I wasn't present, we weren't sure that Maricel could go to the bank and withdraw the money. It was going to work for Metro because our neighbor works there and she was going to help us. And we had a friend at BDO, one of Maricel's family friends, but she wasn't sure. It started out, yeah, you can do that. And then when we got close to leaving, she said, oh, no, you can't do that. So it changed a lot. And I wasn't going to trust that. So I decided to switch my direct deposit, Social Security, to Navy Federal Credit Union for my account, and BDO, Metro Bank for JJ, and Maricel could go withdraw money, but he never got it until I came back from America. It was another story about Social Security and inefficiency there. So what I did, I got on Western Union and did a debit card to debit card transfer. So I used my Navy Federal Credit Union debit card to transfer money to our joint account here in the Philippines to our debit card. And if there was a fee, $5 or $7. It wasn't much, I think. So, and that worked while I was in America. When I came back to the Philippines, then I switched back to BDO because there was an expense associated with drawing my money from the Navy Federal Credit Union account using my ATM card. So I could only withdraw 20,000 pesos at a time using my ATM card. So if I went to the bank to withdraw my Social Security, I had to make several withdrawals. And that included an ATM fee at the bank and by Navy Federal Credit Union. And so it wound up costing me about $20 to $25 every time I got a check in ATM fees. So I quickly converted back to BDO, and it works just fine. It's just about as easy. So not a big deal. So anyhow, I trust BDO. I trust Metro Bank. When you go to the bank, you see armed guards, 2 or 3 guys there with shotguns. Nobody robs a bank in the Philippines. All right, that's banking. If you have any questions, comments, snide remarks, please leave them. Please like and subscribe.